It is no secret that our public education system has become a focal point for activist teachers to enter the classroom and impose their ideologies on your children without your knowledge or consent. Over the last year and a half, I have devoted my life to opposing such actions. However, I must admit with a heavy heart that I have failed in my own district. The Orange Unified School District is not exempt from these influences. In fact, our district is currently facing a radical recall effort driven by a desire to remove pro-parent board trustees from the dais. Today, I want to share the story of a mother from Canyon High School, which is located in Trustee Yamasaki's district within the Orange Unified School District. She was affected by these actions, despite the district's efforts to curb political displays in the classroom. During the August 17th board meeting of the Orange Unified School District, Vice President Ortega reassured the staff regarding a memo from the Human Resources Department. The memo emphasized leaving politics at the door and ensuring that classrooms remain free from ideological influences, particularly for children who do not belong to these activist teachers. However, Trustee Yamasaki, representing Canyon High School, accused Vice President Ortega of threatening teachers and pledged to protect their First Amendment rights, even if it meant compromising the interests of your children.
One of the other things I'd like to mention too, because we're in this political heightened awareness, is that a memo had been sent out earlier this calendar year and also just of recently of this month to all district leadership staff. And that came from Ms. Nib from our HR department about political activities of employees and our board policies and ARs associated with it. And so just reading a couple of them is that posting or distributing political campaign material in classrooms through distance learning platforms or on district property, wear buttons, hats, or other articles of clothing that express political opinions on ballot measures or candidates during instructional time. Disseminate political campaign materials through district mail service, email staff, and mailboxes. Use students to write, address, or distribute political campaign material. Present viewpoints on particular candidates or ballot measures in classroom without equal time of presentations of all perspectives. And that's just a few. So I just want to make sure that everybody in the public understands that, our staff understands that, and their roles and responsibilities associated with that. So I just want that to be out there that HR sent this to all of our leadership staff so that they do have it in their possession. But again, I just want to thank everybody for our new school year for 23-24. It's going to be phenomenal. We have some great administrators in place. I asked the public, I asked the parents, go and talk to these principals, go and meet with them, and you'll be very pleased, I would say.
Excuse me, can I just make a little comment?
Sure.
All right, thank you. For the record, I think it was inappropriate for Trustee Ortega to make his statement because this is supposed to be board recognition of student, staff, and community. And I feel that what he had said is almost like a perceived threat to the employees here who clearly got the memo. So I just want to reassure the staff and that they have a First Amendment right to voice their opinions after hours, and that we will be there to protect you.
The question arises, do teachers have a First Amendment right within their job? I personally disagree, as no one has unrestricted freedom of speech within their employment. Some teachers in our district need to understand that they have a delegated duty from parents to educate their children based on an approved curriculum by the Department of Education and, more importantly, by the Orange Unified School District Board of Education. The board's solemn duty is to ensure that the curriculum supports our community in the best possible way. A concerned parent from our district reached out to me to voice her concerns about her daughter's Spanish teacher conducting an illegal survey on the first day of school, asking for her gender identity and pronouns. Her mother, who stressed that she is not homophobic or transphobic, found these questions inappropriate and unexpected on the first day of class. Her daughter shared her concerns, and both mother and daughter alerted the school. The response was troubling. the assistant principal and the teacher at Canyon High School blamed the student for misinterpreting the teacher's support for the transgender community. However, it is deeply concerning that the instructor collected this information from all students without parental consent, which goes against California's education code designed to protect students from invasive surveys and questionnaires. Education Code 51513 states, "No test, questionnaire, survey, or examination containing any questions about the pupil's personal beliefs or practices in sex, family life, morality, and religion, or any questions about the pupil's parents' or guardians' beliefs and practices in sex, family life, morality, and religion, shall be administered to any pupil in kindergarten or grades 1 to 12 inclusive, unless the parent or guardian of the pupil is notified in writing that this test, questionnaire, survey, or examination is to be administered and the parent or guardian of the pupil gives written permission for the pupil to take this test, questionnaire, survey, or examination."
Here we are in front of Canyon High School within the Orange Unified School District. This campus is actually overseen by Trustee Yamasaki, where one student was actually told that if they are not nice to trans kids, they will not do well in this teacher's classroom. I have the mother here with me to be able to explain to all of you what happened with her and her child.
So it was her first day of class with this teacher, and she made it very clear, starting with a Google Doc, asking a series of questions, one being asking her gender. My daughter was uncomfortable with answering, even though she's secure in her gender. She just didn't think it was appropriate. But unfortunately, she was not able to submit the Google form without completing that question. Shortly after, it was followed up with a speech on if you are transphobic or anti-gay or anti-this or that, this is not the class for you. So my daughter's been here a couple years, and this was the first time any of this dialogue had ever happened. And when I picked her up from school, that's when she shared how her day went.
Were you notified about this survey, given advance warning that your daughter would be asked these questions?
No, not at all.
Okay. Now, from my understanding, you did reach out to the school and explain to them what was going on.
Yes, I did.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what happened there?
Sure. I reached out and left a message for the principal, and a couple days later I was contacted by one of the assistant principals. And I just asked for just some clarification. She asked for my permission to bring my daughter in and get a written statement, which I agreed to. And she said by the end of the day, she will have spoken with the teacher and will get back to me. So by the end of the day, when she contacted me back, she said that my daughter misinterpreted the teacher's intentions of asking these questions or making her statement. I didn't agree with that, so I asked some more questions. Basically, why was her gender asked? When every year at the beginning of the school year we complete the OUSD emergency forms where we call out gender. She said sometimes these kids have names that are not gender specific, and so the teacher was asking for that reason. And also because in foreign languages there are masculine and feminine tenses, which I believe there's masculine and feminine tenses in every language.
So when your daughter was told this, your daughter's not transphobic, is not homophobic.
No.
How did it feel for her to be hit with this on the first day of school?
Yeah, she was really confused. Like I said, she's been in Orange Unified her whole, growing up. Never ever was she asked these questions. So it came to her as a bit of a surprise, and she felt like, well, why do I have to answer this? Why is it any of your business? I'm here to learn. I'm not in a human sexuality class. I'm not in college. She felt like she was kind of being put out. It was like there was no more boundary.
So your daughter shows up for what kind of class is this?
Spanish.
So wow.
Yeah.
So she shows up for Spanish class.
Yes.
She's hit with this gender survey and sexual orientation survey, just gender?
Gender.
So she's hit with this gender survey in a Spanish class from left field.
Yes.
And then when she comes home and tells you, they blame her for her misinterpretation.
Yes.
All because they wanted to survey kids about their gender to ensure that they choose the right suffix or masculine or feminine tones, however they refer to this.
Right.
To me, that's a load of baloney. It seems like they're trying to cover up their tracks for an inappropriate survey. Anytime a child is surveyed in the state of California by a school, parents must be notified, and they actually break education code when they don't. Did they bring up anything about parental notification with this survey and how it should have gone out or anything like that?
No.
And how do you feel that your concerns were addressed by the school?
I felt like the AP that I spoke with listened but sided with the teacher, and she said, my door's open if your daughter has any other concerns with friends or the class or any other class. But what I wanted to hear was some corrective action to be taken. I would like for this to stop because I don't think it's applicable to her learning here or really any other student. I felt like the teacher was fishing by asking this question in her survey, as well as the speech that she made. It seemed like, from what my daughter shared, that if her beliefs were anything other than the teacher's, that she needed to change her class. And it didn't matter if it meant disrupting her entire schedule. Just, if you don't align with me, this is not the class for you.
So they give you a bogus reasoning for the survey. What was the rationale behind the comment, if you're not nice to gay people or trans people, you won't do well in this class, or it's not the class for you? What was the reasoning for that? How do you misinterpret that?
Right. I still don't understand why, and neither does my daughter. I've spoken with a couple other parents in the class, and their child reported the same story. So it's not like this is, a telephone game or a one-off or anything like that. It still, to this day, doesn't make sense to me why. Another comment that was made when I brought this up to the assistant principal, she said that all politics are to be left at the door, that they just recently had a meeting before school started and said, leave the politics at the door. So I told her, well, in this teacher doing so, I felt like she invited it in. If she's against bullying, name calling, which I agree, that's not acceptable and there should be a consequence, then I think a blanket statement stating that would have been sufficient. But instead, she was choosing groups to hit on. And if she wants to be a safe teacher for kids to come to, I'm all for that, but I don't think that that's your opening conversation, welcoming your class in at all, period.
So people that have concerns with this are usually called homophobic and transphobic. You are also none of those things.
None.
It sounds like to me you just would rather be incorporated in these things that are happening with your child.
Yes.
So if you could tell the OUSD community anything, what would you tell them?
I just think we need to leave all of that stuff outside of the classroom. My kids come to this school to learn, to be educated, to make friends, to get involved, to plan for their future. But I think as it relates to their identity, I don't think school is the place for that at all, period.
Trustee Yamasaki, a few board meetings ago, when John was trying to reemphasize a memo that was sent out by our HR department emphasizing to leave politics away from the classroom, you turned around and protected the teachers under freedom of speech. Your actions are the direct result of this student's experience. Ensuring that us as a district have a blanket of positivity regardless of how a student identifies is crucial for the culture and the success of all students. I hope that you see advocating for teachers to have freedom of speech when it comes to politics inside the classroom is only detrimental for the students, the staff, and the stakeholders of the community.
The key question is, why is this happening? The parent informed me that the principal of Canyon High School reinforced a memo from the district to prevent the injection of politics into the classroom. Actions like these can be divisive and negatively affect students. stakeholders, community members, and the staff dedicated to serving our students. If both the principal and the district are on the same page about leaving politics out of the classroom, why did Trustee Yamasaki publicly denounce Vice President John Ortega's efforts to do the same? Such actions are negatively impacting our district and parents, as they result from the problems at Canyon High School. Our school board members, Madison Miner, Rick Ledesma, Angie Rumsey, and John Ortega, are committed to protecting parental rights that have been eroded by trustees like Andrea Yamasaki. However, if the radical recall is successful, Trustee Anna Page, who is up for re-election in 2024, and Trustee Erickson and Yamasaki will likely seek to undo the board majority's success in restoring parental rights. Another parent in the district, whose child was in the same class as the aforementioned student, shared her thoughts on the survey conducted without parental consent or knowledge.
As a parent of 2 high school-aged boys at Canyon High School, I have heard about a survey going around asking kids of their gender and how they identify. I feel very betrayed. I feel like it's wrong. I don't think that teachers have any right to ask questions how they identify or what their pronouns are. That kind of stuff does not belong in our primary education, in my opinion. I don't think teachers should be able to ask these questions without notifying the parents first. I feel that many of these kids feel pressured to answer as almost as if they'll be singled out or treated or graded misfairly if they don't cooperate with these teachers.
I am unwavering in my commitment to safeguard our community from radical ideologies and, most importantly, to keep you informed about what is happening in the classroom. As someone raised by a mother who had to work multiple jobs to support 6 children, I understand the tremendous trust we place in our education system. Many working parents lack the time and resources to stay involved in these matters. That's why I'm choosing to shed light on what's happening within our community. If you are a parent within the Orange Unified School District, reading this, I urge you to attend our board meetings and make your voice heard with the Board of Education. The board majority is dedicated to restoring what parents want and need from our school district, making you a priority in their decision-making process. To Trustee Yamasaki, I say this. I understand your desire to support the LGBT community, but you cannot do so while excluding parents from the process. If you truly want to help the LGBT community, always ensure that parents are involved in these decisions. You never know how many lives you can positively impact by simply keeping parents informed. In conclusion, I have compiled the key talking points related to excluding parents from important decisions and created a video to illustrate the arguments used by those who justify such exclusion. Thank you to the Orange Unified community for your support, and I remain committed to ensuring that your voices are heard and that we continue to restore parental rights.